yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bring it on in, family. Bring it on in. We're going with a new little structure on the videos to see how y'all like this. We kind of break down the topics. Obviously, tomorrow's video will probably be on something like XRP or Tesla, things like that. But today we're going to talk about AMC as we're cresting in the beginning of the week, hitting some more lows as I predicted in last week's videos. And like I said, just going to kind of rehearse my game plan and what I see going on as far as the future price movement and things that you should expect. But first, we're going to tap down in the clip with our Charles Pizzle, which is basically talking about how the democracy is waning in the new world. All right. Hey, let's tap down into it. Yeah. Oh, wait. That'll be better for you. Yeah.
So last Friday was International Democracy Day. I mean, who knew? But maybe instead of celebrating, we should be sending up an SOS as the spread of democracy has really waned in recent years, especially liberal democracy, which was supposed to be the ticket for freedom for everybody on the planet. Remember that? Well, the list of problems is certainly long, but a bunch can be put into the category of what I call greed and power. In fact, take this headline from FT. It speaks to the relentless grip public servants have on power. The battle of the ages, how America's...
Guys, this might be one of the most upset times that the United States consumer, United States civilian has been in the government in probably all time. I'm trying to think of when there might have been a more time where people were more frustrated than now. I'm just trying to put it together. Obviously, I haven't been alive for that. I've been alive for a decent little while, but obviously, it ain't like it's 100, 200 years, but I'm just trying to say, looking through the test of times, this stuff right here is iconic. This is Boston Tea Party acts right here.
Gerontocracy is a challenge
That's where this
for
is
democracy.
getting at.
Now, there has been several high-profile, of course, instances.
Protests, UAW protests,
bringing up the cognitive
climate
ability.
protests.
Yeah, take a look at that chart. That's a spike right there. Those are lawmakers above 70 years old. Meanwhile, the political schism in this country has never been worse. Listen, we've shifted from a country where we could have differences of opinion to outright hating someone in a different party. Meanwhile, there's been a sharp rise in Americans who are just saying a pox on both houses. Now, the question is, will there ever be a viable alternative? I want to bring in now Forward Party co-chair Andrew Yang. And Andrew, before we get into the Forward Party, I want you to kind of describe in general, how do you think we as America got into this mess?
Our founding fathers would be turning over in their graves if they saw where we are now, Charles. George Washington famously warned against political parties. John Adams said two parties would be a great evil across the land. And here we are with this terrible design that leaves 2/3 of Americans wanting something different. That's where we are right now.
I look at, for instance, these polls where Democrats are saying they don't want President Biden to run again. And if he runs, it's a machine.
Guys, that orange man might be getting in there. I don't know what they're going to pull, guys. Everybody's just sitting back here at this point. After the involvement of AMC, after seeing the debauchery of the government at this point, we just sitting here just watching like, oh, what are y'all going to just do? What story y'all going to make up today? Obviously, it don't matter what we say or what we want. So we just sitting up here like, will he win? We don't know.
They become machines. They harvest the votes. You don't need the passion. You don't need to go out and hit the stump. There's something inorganic about where we are right now that, on top of the two-party system, that really bothers me.
Oh, yeah, I've said, look, Joe Biden should allow for a real primary with debates and the whole nine, or at a minimum, they should hold a VP primary. Right. So Joe saying, look, I'm back out at the top of the ticket in 24, but there should be a competitive process for who might take over for me. Because we all know, he'll be 82 at the start of his first term, or second term.
Tell us about the Forward Party.
Although the Forward Party is growing leaps and bounds by creating a new choice in American politics. My co-chair is Governor Christie Todd Whitman of New Jersey, and we're for the Americans who say they want leaders that listen to you on things like term limits. When you showed that gerontocracy data, 74% of Americans think we should be sending people to D.C. to come home. Right. Imagine that. Imagine them coming home.
Right.
I just thought about the simple fact that man will be almost 90 years old if he gets a second term and completes a term.
Right. You go there, you serve a little bit. Term limits, I guess. Instead of age limits, I just think term limits would be the thing. And I keep hearing about it.
I want both.
Why doesn't this stuff ever actually
term
come
limits
to
and age
now?
limits?
It's because our
what happened to being able to just sit down?
Charles. That's why the Forward Party is growing so quickly. I do have a clever way they could maybe
You get to a certain age where you just need to sit down. You don't need to be doing, oh yeah, let me run the country at 90. When did we start this? When did we start this? I missed the memo, but I'm watching now. It's like they said 70% of our government entities in higher power, 80 years old and above. You got people hitting that Mitch McConnell out here.
Law is to say, look, 12-year term limits, but current lawmakers are exempted. That way they would, they would do their thing. But that's the kind of thing the American people are clamoring for.
What's the difference between the Forward Party and, say, no labels?
Forward Party is laser focused on the 500,000 plus local races around the country. We're talking about city commissioner, district attorney, mayor, county executive. We think that's where we can have the biggest impact. And we've had dozens of elected officials already join the Forward Party at those levels.
So it's not outsiders per se then?
Well,
I mean, you have political insiders, though, who say they don't want to be beholden, though, to either party. Is that
Yeah, that's right. If someone says, look, I don't want to listen to the party bosses, I want to listen to you, the people who voted me in, and I'm for things like opening up the primary system so anyone can vote, reducing money in politics, term limits, you can join the Forward Party. That's true for citizens and it's true for officials.
Here's the thing. I really desperately would love to see more political parties. I mean, I'm a pox on both houses kind of guy. The money, you mentioned money a moment ago. I think it's going to cost $4 billion to become president of the United States. How does an independent party jump into the fray when it costs so much money and the special interests control the purse strings?
Yeah, that's one reason why the Forward Party is looking at these local races, because there's not as much money in the local races, so the parties aren't dumping as much of their funds on it. But we can create a ton of momentum because up to 70% of the local races in this country are uncontested or uncompetitive.
Right.
The money's in D.C. because that's where they think they can make their money back. We're trying to make a difference where you work and live.
You know, you spent a lot of time around these folks in D.C. I've seen people in my lifetime who I thought were...
So if I'm understanding this right, he's making a new party called the Forward Party. Hey, I'm open to it at this point.
And I think they were.
I'm open to it at this
First time running, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I've only got a minute to go, but do you think there's something infectious about the power? Once they get there, even those with the greatest of intentions, it's hard not to turn, not to ever want to leave.
Ezra Klein wrote, a corruptive system will compromise good individuals with ease. That's where we are, Charles. You can have not so good people, you have good people. Unfortunately, at this point, they're going to wind up trapped in the system. That's why we need a new party, the Forward Party.
Real quick, how long do you think it will be before the Forward Party really can dictate things on a national level?
Well, we're going to be at hundreds of elected officials by next year. I think in the thousands thereafter. So we're going to get this on the national radar, making a difference in everyone's lives. I think the next 5 years.
Next 5 years. All right. So
sounds like we'll hear
about it. Andrew Yang.
You say some crazy like about 30 years from now
for the White House, but on a different party platform.
Oh, thanks for saying so, man. My joke is that apparently I've got another
Good luck.
40
The
years.
independent party been trying that for a while.
Young. Thanks a lot, Andrew.
All right, guys. But like I said, I just found that very interesting, just off the simple fact of you're watching people get so agitated in the way the economy is run, and justly so, that we are bounding out. Because I'm in that similar fray where it's kind of like I'm an independent. Not Republican, not Democrat. Because like I said, at this point, if you really know what's going on, it's kind of like, you're fighting with the same entity. There's a reason why up on the FTX there were donations to two parties. I'm not going to say too much. Don't want to get blackballed out here, but y'all go do your own research on that if you haven't already. But let's tap down to our AMC and I'll get this thing closed up here quickly. Y'all tell me how y'all like this format of the videos. But tapping in, estimated short interest at 12.67%. Free float on loan, 13.58. Shares on loan is 26.87 million. Days to cover, 2.18. Cost bar, 6.81% with a utilization of 67.18%. Like I said, guys, vastly small compared to what the numbers were prior to a reverse split. Like I said, we're tailing down. There's another strategy. There's money to be made with AMC, but you got to have a strategy and way to play this. Pulling on through shares available, sitting at 1.5 million shares available, with them borrowing at a measly 3.6%. which again is not anything that's inducing them, which is kind of letting you know that that pressure has subsided from what the original MOAS was. But now pulling on through, looking at price targets like I predicted last week, there's an overall downtrend. You've got the 48 sitting well below the the 14 sitting well below the 48 on the line, which is obviously showing there's going to be downside, more impending downside to come through. And then the stock is generally riding up under that VWAP, so that's never really a good sign. But like I said, I already had expectations. Much as we've discussed on this panel, which I just tell everybody so everybody knows how I'm playing my strategy. I'll be opening up a new position with AMC at a much lower price. Like I mentioned, hypothetically would be amazing would be able to catch this at $1 or $2. Don't know if how probable that is, but I do know that there's going to be some downside to where there's going to be a very little sweet spot to buy into this stock and then kind of prepare for the on ensuing pop, guys. Which will come because now AMC is converted officially to a fundamental play, as plays like or movies like Barbie, Nun 2, The Haunting on I forgot what the name of, but all these box office smashes are currently out, and then proceeding through coming into Halloween, which is going to be smashes for box office. The fundamentals, like I said, we had our first positive quarter. The fundamentals have switched for AMC, so now you've got to look at the play on the fundamental thing. I'll be in and out of that play. I'm not going to necessarily say that I'm going to sit there and just, I'm diamond hand this too. Nah, I'm going to make movements in this play and out of this play. But like I said, I have an expectation of further downside, but there will be a pop. And like we say, guys, a movement from, it might sound like, oh, 50, 60, 70, that's crazy. Well, 50, 60, 70 now is like $15, right? So that move can happen, but a reestablished position. And again, like I said, not telling anybody buy, hold, or sell. I'm just telling you how I'm moving it and what I'm seeing come in the future and why I'm moving that way, right? But if I could catch that, like, God willing, if it was at $1 and I could thrash $1,000 in, pick up 1,000 shares and ride that on like a 30, 40 run, hey, that's $40,000 picked up, right? That's the way to encapsulate that money back. But like I said, there's multiple ways to hit that same move. We all expect that move to come. It's going to happen because fundamentals. This stock has to be trading higher than Cinemark. This is the number one. It can't be trading lower than the number two. So like I said, we know there's price move to come. I don't see it this current time. I'm feeling like this thing is going to kind of bubble up a little bit more to the latter half of the year. I know people get mad when I say things like this, but like I said, guys, I just got to keep it $1.50 with you. I'm not going to come out and lie to you, but like I said, we have price move to come, but it's about positioning yourself, not over leveraging those that are too over leveraged AMC. Check out those bangers: Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum. What I say? Apple. Hey guys, there's bangers and slappers. And like I said, before we close out, just so y'all can see what we're going through in the day to day. Guys, look at this play. What happened today? No. Look at this right here, guys. I watched the play. I was swing trading something else, but it just happened so fast I couldn't even. So SPAC opened up at $7 today. That thing ran to $200. We watched it clipping up. It was up 1,700% before crashing back down. Look at these gap ups. Do. I mean, insane. These were holds. It was holding and just opening up like $50, $100 above. Like I said, guys, this is retail that's in there moving that. So when I tell everybody the retail stock is just beginning, guys, we're going to be bringing bangers, slappers, plays to make money. But like I said, that's going to be after we've kind of done a understanding and a kind of like almost like a video training of how to play these plays. Because I don't want to necessarily bring y'all in and y'all got to realize this happened in one day. Some fool bought up here at $100. Like, it's going to 1,000. Crushed, right? You got to know what you're doing. Once you in, it's quick. That can be a day, 2-3 day swing, and then you out. But like I said, that's gonna be things that we bring ladder down the line as well as options and things like that, guys. Chance gonna keep growing. Chance keep swinging it, guys. Much love to y'all boys. I appreciate y'all. Hey, y'all are making a dream come true. Hey, hang in there tight. Those that hold AMC, like I said, we've got price moving to come. There's money to be made in that play. Hey, y'all boys hold down. You already know what's next, don't you? Oh, yes, sir. DJ B Money, drop that track. Yes, sir!